The galaxy had been watching for weeks. From one corner of space to the other, whispers spread like fire. The Caloran Alliance, one of the oldest and most feared alien coalitions, was gathering its fleets. Their ships were built for war. Sharp, black silhouettes bristling with weapons that could burn planets. For years, they had wanted to test humanity, to crush the strange young species that had risen too fast and too far. Now, at last, the time had come. The Caloran High Command believed the war would be quick. Their admirals boasted that Earth would fall within days. Their soldiers spoke of human cities burning and human voices begging for mercy. Across alien worlds, civilians cheered at the thought of humanity's defeat. They imagined victory parades, trophies taken from a broken planet, and humans reduced to slaves. It was said the Caloran had built the largest fleet in their history for this single war. Over 2,000 warships gathered near the border of human space. They came from different species, allied under the Caloran banner. Each ship was armed with plasma batteries, ion lances, and missile racks that could darken stars. In their minds, there was no chance for humanity to survive. Yet even as the fleet gathered, a strange unease spread among the alien ranks. Stories had traveled through the void for years, stories that unsettled even the bravest. Whispers of human courage, tales of human desperation that turned into fury, accounts of battles where humans, outnumbered and outgunned, somehow still emerged victorious. But the admirals dismissed these as myths. Humans are flesh and bone like the rest of us, they said. One push, and they will fall. On Earth, silence answered the gathering storm. Humanity's leaders sent no long speeches, no threats, no begging for peace. To the galaxy, it looked as if Earth was frozen with fear. But in the deep halls beneath the planet's surface, plans were unfolding. A single ship was being prepared. The enemy expected fleets, massive armadas with hundreds of ships. That was how wars were fought. One side matched the other with numbers, with firepower, with walls of steel. But the humans chose differently. In the quiet of their war councils, they had decided only one ship would leave Earth. One ship against thousands. The galaxy laughed when the news spread. On alien worlds, commentators mocked humanity. One ship? They insult the Caloran. They insult the very idea of war. Soldiers aboard the alien armada sneered, calling it madness. Some even pitied the humans for sending a single vessel to die. But the humans did not explain themselves. No message came from Earth. No statement was given to the galaxy. Only silence. In orbit, the lone ship was unlike anything the world had seen. Its hull was dark, seamless, with no markings of nation or fleet. It was long, sleek, almost predatory in shape, as if built for more than battle, as if built for dominance. Its engines glowed faint blue, quiet and steady, hiding a power not yet revealed. Every piece of it spoke of design beyond imagination. Inside, the crew was few in number but heavy in purpose. They were not chosen for rank or family, but for something deeper, unyielding resolve. Their eyes carried no fear, only a cold focus. They understood what this mission meant. They understood that the galaxy was watching, waiting for humanity to either rise like fire or vanish like dust. Meanwhile, across the alien fleet, tension grew. The admirals gave speeches of victory, but their soldiers felt something else. Something about the humans' silence gnawed at them. Why would an entire species send only one ship? Was it arrogance? Was it despair? Or was it something more dangerous? As the human ship drifted from orbit, leaving Earth behind, 1,000,000 eyes watched. Satellites, spy probes, and hidden scouts from alien empires recorded every detail. Across countless alien news channels, the image spread. The humans were sending only one ship, and across those same channels, laughter echoed. But beneath the laughter was a shadow of doubt. The storm was here. The fleets had gathered. The galaxy expected war on a scale not seen in centuries, but when the moment came, there was no thunder of thousands of human ships, no endless formations filling the void. There was only one vessel, gliding silently through the black sea of stars, and as it vanished into hyperspace, heading straight toward the enemy's armada, even the boldest alien commanders felt a flicker of unease, because deep in their bones, they knew something was wrong. The enemy expected war, but humanity was about to answer in its own way. The alien armada waited near the border of human space. Their ships filled the black sky, rows upon rows like steel mountains drifting in silence. Thousands of hulls gleamed under distant stars, and every gun, every cannon, every missile was aimed at the void ahead. They were ready. Scouts had reported that only a single human vessel was on its way. Still, many of the alien captains refused to believe it. They expected a trick, some clever human trap. Perhaps the lone ship was bait, meant to draw their attention while the real human fleet struck from another angle. No species, no matter how bold, would face thousands of warships with only one vessel. But then it came. Out of hyperspace, the human ship appeared with a flash of white light, a shadow sliding out of the fold of space. It emerged slowly, as if it had all the time in the world. The alien fleet shifted nervously. Engines roared as ships adjusted their formation. Cannons rotated, sensors focused, and there it was, just one. The vessel did not look like the massive dreadnoughts the aliens were used to. It was not covered in endless weapons or painted with banners of war. Its hull was smooth, dark, with no markings at all. To the enemy, it looked almost quiet, too quiet. Alien crews laughed at first. On comms, mocking voices filled the channels. This is the human armada? A single shadow? Others were less certain. They studied the human ship carefully. Its design was strange. No exposed engines, no visible bridge, no weaknesses. It was as if the ship was not built for numbers, not built for show, only for purpose. The Kaloran admiral of the fleet, Lord Koresh, spoke with contempt. Destroy it. One volley will be enough. But another voice, an older commander, urged, caution. Wait, watch. Humans never play a simple game. If they bring one ship, it is not by mistake. The fleet held position. Thousands of cannons pointed toward the single vessel. Across the galaxy, billions watched through hidden transmissions. The battle was being broadcast in silence, every empire eager to see humanity's end. Inside the human ship, there was no panic. The crew moved with calm hands, checking stations, adjusting systems, waiting for orders. Their captain stood at the center, a tall figure with steady eyes. He spoke only once to his people. Hold the line. Let them make the first move. The human ship did not rush forward. It did not fire. It simply drifted at the edge of the alien formation, alone against the storm. Its engines glowed with a faint blue light, casting soft halos into the dark. The longer it stayed still, the more uneasy the enemy grew. Soldiers aboard alien ships whispered in fear. Why did the humans not attack? Why did they not retreat? Why were they so calm? Some thought the humans were stalling. Others believed the ship carried a hidden weapon, but no one could explain the silence. Minutes passed. The tension grew heavy, pressing down like gravity. The galaxy, watching from afar, began to sense something was wrong. The human vessel sent a single transmission across every channel, in every language. The message was only 2 words. This is enough. The words echoed through the alien fleet, simple, quiet, but sharp as a blade. Many laughed again, trying to bury their fear in mockery. Enough! Against us, against thousands. But deep, in their hearts, doubt gnawed at them. Ships tightened their formation. Cannons charged. Energy built across the fleet. Yet the human ship still did not move. It stood alone, one against many, silent as stone. Lord Koresh finally gave the order. Forward, we will erase this insult. A single alien cruiser broke formation, gliding toward the human ship. Its cannons glowed red, hungry to fire. Alien. Soldiers cheered inside their war machines, expecting an easy kill. But as the cruiser closed in, the human vessel stirred. Its hull shimmered faintly, as if space itself bent around it. Unknown energy rippled outward, invisible yet heavy, pressing against sensors, blinding instruments. The alien cruiser slowed. Its cannons flickered. Warnings filled its bridge. The crew panicked, systems failing one by one. And still, the human ship had not fired a single shot. The alien fleet froze. Thousands of ships stared at the lone vessel in sudden silence. What was this power? The humans had brought only one ship. And now, for the first time, the enemy began to understand. One was all they needed. The alien cruiser shuddered in silence as strange forces tore through its systems. Lights dimmed, weapons went cold, and the crew screamed as their ship lost all control. A moment later, without fire or explosion, the cruiser drifted lifeless, in the void, as if swallowed by something unseen. The human ship had still not fired, it only watched. The fleet erupted in confusion. Thousands of alien voices filled the comms with shouts of disbelief. Admirals demanded explanations from their sensors, from their engineers, from anyone who could explain the impossible. But every answer was the same. The human vessel had done nothing visible. No torpedoes, no beams, no missiles. The cruiser had simply died. Lord Koresh, standing on the command bridge of the Caloran flagship, slammed his claws against the armrest. His voice roared across the fleet's comms. "Do not be fooled. This is a trick of their technology. They want us to fear. They want us to hesitate. But we are Caloran. We are thousands. Crush this shadow and show the galaxy that humans are nothing." His words spread quickly. Soldiers cheered, captains shouted, and arrogance surged once more. Fear was buried under noise. They refused to believe that one human ship could threaten them, and yet doubt lingered. On the smaller ships, whispers grew among the crews. How can one vessel stop a cruiser? How can it do this without a single weapon? Officers silenced them with threats, reminding them of the fleet's strength. But the fear would not die. The human ship remained still, drifting like a predator, waiting for its prey to make a mistake. Its engines glowed faintly, and the strange shimmer around its hull rippled again, like heat waves bending light. No one could identify what it was. No alien sensor had ever recorded such energy. Still, Koresh ordered the attack. A wing of 10 destroyers broke formation and moved forward. Their engines blazed, their cannons primed. They locked onto the human vessel and fired in unison. Dozens of plasma bolts lit the void, streaking toward the silent shadow. The galaxy watched. Billions leaned closer to their screens, waiting for the human ship to be destroyed in a blaze of alien fire. But when the bolts reached the vessel, they vanished. Not exploded, not blocked, simply gone, as if space itself had swallowed them whole. Shock waves of silence spread across the alien fleet. The destroyers fired again and again, each volley disappearing into nothing. Their targeting systems screamed errors, their sensors went blind, their weapons failed to obey. Panic filled the voices of their crews. Then the human ship finally moved. It shifted slightly, turning its bow toward the destroyers. A low vibration rippled through the void, felt not by sensors, but by the bones of every living being nearby. One destroyer cracked in half without warning, split down the center as if invisible claws had torn it apart. Another twisted until its hull snapped like glass. Within seconds, half the wing was gone. Still, the human vessel had not fired in any way the aliens understood. Koresh's fury turned to desperation, though he hid it behind his voice. "They cannot destroy us all. Push forward. All ships advance. Surround it." Obedience rippled across the fleet. Thousands of engines roared, and the armada began to close in on the lone ship. Their formations spread wide, cannons glowing with power, missile bays opening like steel mouths. The void lit up as every weapon in range was unleashed. The sky turned into fire. Plasma, missiles, beams, and torpedoes filled the darkness. A storm of destruction aimed at a single target. When the fire cleared, the human ship was still there, untouched, silent. Not a scratch marred its hull. Its engines glowed calmly, its shadow unbroken. The alien crews trembled. Some shouted that their weapons were useless. Others begged their commanders to retreat, but the admirals, filled with pride and shame, refused. "We are thousands. It cannot defeat us all." On board the human vessel, the captain finally spoke again. His voice was calm, without anger or pride, only certainty. Now they will understand. The ship's hull brightened with a faint glow, like stars being born on its surface. The shimmer expanded, spreading outward in waves. Alien sensors went black. Communications crackled. Entire systems across the fleet shut down. The galaxy watched in dread as thousands of ships, an armada meant to erase a species, suddenly found themselves powerless before a single human vessel. And for the first time, the enemy realized that their arrogance might cost them everything. The void trembled. For the first time in living memory, an entire fleet, thousands of ships, stood powerless before one vessel. Their cannons fired, but hit nothing. Their missiles locked, but vanished into the dark. Their beams bent like light through water and dissolved before reaching their target. The human ship hovered in silence, glowing faintly with that strange ripple of power. It was not just a weapon. It was something greater, something the galaxy had never seen. On board the alien flagship, Lord Koresh shouted at his commanders, "Regain control, fire again, overwhelm it." But the answers returned the same. Weapons offline, sensors blind, engines struggling. The fleet was alive but paralyzed. Some captains began to panic. "We must retreat," they begged. "This is not war, this is death." Others refused, shouting that numbers still mattered, that thousands could crush one. But deep inside, every soldier felt the truth. Numbers meant nothing now. Then the human ship moved. Its engines flared with blue fire, but it did not rush forward like an attacker. It glided slow and calm, weaving through the alien formation like a predator among prey. Wherever it passed, alien ships trembled. Systems flickered, hulls bent under unseen pressure, and one by one, vessels were torn apart. The destruction was not loud. There were no giant explosions, no storms of fire. Ships simply cracked, split, or melted in silence, drifting lifeless into the void. The galaxy expected thunder. Humanity gave them silence. The alien crews screamed as their ships died around them, but the human vessel showed no haste. It killed with patience, with precision, as if each destruction was a lesson. A message cut across all frequencies. It was the same human voice from before, calm and steady. You expected fleets, you expected numbers, but one is enough. The words spread like a knife through the armada. Entire crews froze. Admirals clenched their fists in rage, but could not hide their fear. Even Koresh, proud commander of the Kaloran, felt his blood grow cold. The human ship turned toward the center of the fleet. A new energy gathered along its hull, brighter this time, bending space itself. The stars around it warped like reflections on water. The void groaned, as if reality itself resisted the power it carried. Koresh gave a desperate order. "All ships, charge! Collide with it if you must! Do not let this demon live!" Hundreds of alien warships surged forward. Engines burned. Hulls shook, and voices cried out as they threw themselves toward the lone vessel. But the ship did not retreat. It unleashed its hidden strength. From its core erupted a wave, silent, invisible, unstoppable. Space rippled like a tide, rolling outward in all directions. The nearest alien ships collapsed instantly, their hulls crushed flat as if the void itself had clenched a fist around them. Others twisted until they snapped apart, metal shrieking, into fragments. Within seconds, hundreds of ships were gone. The wave continued, spreading wider, touching vessels across the fleet. Thousands screamed as their controls went dark, their engines dead, their weapons cold. Panic turned into chaos. Ships collided with each other, trying to flee. The human ship stood untouched at the center of the storm. On alien worlds, civilians watched the broadcast in silence. The laughter that once filled their channels was gone. In its place was dread. They realized the humans had not brought one ship because they were weak. They had brought one ship because they needed no more. Back on the human vessel, the crew did not celebrate. They moved with quiet focus, carrying out their tasks as if this was not battle but duty. The captain's eyes were steady as he gave his final order. End this. The ship pulsed once more. This time, the wave of power did not kill. It froze the remaining alien ships in place, locking their engines and weapons. Thousands of vessels drifted helplessly, powerless before one. The message came again, across every comm, in every language of the stars. Humanity fights only when it must. Remember this, tell your people what you saw. One ship was enough. And then silence. The galaxy had seen wars. The galaxy had seen empires rise and fall. But never before had it seen this. One human ship against thousands and victory carved. In silence, the enemy had expected war, but they had been given a lesson instead. The battlefield was silent. What had once been the largest fleet in Caloran history was now wreckage drifting across the stars. Thousands of ships that had promised certain victory were broken, powerless, or gone forever. The void smelled of metal and ash, but no sound carried in the vacuum. Only silence remained, and in that silence, fear. The lone human ship hovered calmly among the ruins. Its dark hull was untouched, its engines steady, its glow soft but unyielding. To the galaxy watching, it looked less like a machine of war and more like a shadow of judgment. Inside alien command centers, leaders stared in disbelief. Councils that had once laughed at humanity sat frozen, unable to speak. Their fleets were gone, their pride broken. No one dared to issue threats anymore. The silence of the humans was louder than any declaration of war. On the bridge of the Caloran flagship, Lord Koresh stood with his claws trembling. His ship was locked, its systems dead, his crew staring at him with empty eyes. He wanted to scream, to deny what had happened, but he could not. The truth was carved into the wreckage around him. The human vessel opened comms once more. Its voice reached every surviving ship, every listening empire, every hidden probe broadcasting across the stars. The words were calm, without hate or triumph, only truth. Humanity does not seek conquest. Humanity does not seek war. But when war is brought to us, we answer. One ship is enough. Remember this, the message cut deep. There was no promise of peace, no threat of revenge, only a warning, simple and absolute. Across the alien fleet, silence spread. Thousands of soldiers sat in the dark, realizing they had been beaten not by numbers, not by fire, but by something greater, human will and human creation. Fear ran deeper than defeat, because if this was only one ship, what else might the humans have? How many weapons had they not revealed? How much power had they chosen to hold back? The human vessel did not stay. With quiet engines, it turned away from the wreckage. Its silhouette slipped into hyperspace, vanishing as suddenly as it had appeared. No celebration followed, no speeches were given. Humanity had spoken, and then humanity had left. The galaxy, however, could not forget. On alien worlds, the story spread faster than any war record. Children whispered of the lone human ship that destroyed an armada. Soldiers who once mocked humans now spoke of them in hushed tones. Admirals who once promised easy victory avoided even saying the word Earth. Some called the humans demons. Others called them gods, but all agreed on one thing: they were dangerous. Even among neutral empires, fear turned into respect. Deals were cancelled, wars were delayed. No one wanted to test humanity again. The Caloran, once so proud, became quiet in the Galactic councils. Their defeat was etched in history for all to see. But on Earth, there was no parade. The humans did not boast. The lone crew returned home, their faces calm, their voices quiet. They knew the galaxy was watching, and arrogance was not their way. The ship was hidden once more, placed back into the shadows where it belonged. It had done its work, and so the lesson remained. The enemy had expected fleets. They had expected desperate humans throwing thousands of ships into battle. But instead, they had seen something far greater. Humanity did not need fleets. Humanity needed only one ship to remind the galaxy that war with them was never wise. Generations later, the tale would still be told, not just among humans, but across countless stars. A story passed down as warning, as legend, as fear. The lesson was simple, and the galaxy never forgot it. When humanity answers, one ship is enough.